Alright guys, so today I wanted to take you down Vestax memory lane. Right here in my hand I have a pretty unique crossfader that Vestax came out with, and this is the Vestax Cf-Cc PCV fader. So this was kind of like Vestax's third iteration of crossfaders. So their first iteration was the Alps fader, and that was a really nice fader. It was a rail fader. When it came out, it was one of the best faders on the market. Well, as time went on, they went with this PCV fader. They changed up the design a little bit. In turn, what that did was it made the fader a lot smoother. A lot of the time, what was happening with these faders, there was always a little bit of a lag or a dead space as you were bringing the sound in. It took a little bit of movement to get to full volume. What DJs were doing previous was they would either get a credit card and then they would cut it, and then they would kind of stick it right here, drill a little hole, and then they would have it sticking out here so the fader wouldn't go all the way back. It would stop right before it got to the end, so then that would be the end point, and then boom, it would be instant cut on. They came out with these little rubber bumpers, and those were the Vestax CLS-1, and those little rubber bumpers, what they did is they actually slid inside on the top here, and they went in, and it was just like a little rubber spacer that filled in that little dead spot. What Vestax decided to do was they were going to kill that dead space, and the way that they did it was they added a little more circuitry, and you can see right here there's these two little wheels, and these wheels are actually little potentiometer switches, and what it does is you can dial in and shorten that dead space or that cut-in time, so you could actually do that on each side and make it more customizable. It's a really cool design, kind of like a bridge in between faders before Vestax made their own non-contact fader, but that fader only made it to the Samurai series of mixers. I'm gonna open this little guy up. It needs to be cleaned. It's not as smooth as it could be, so I figure I would show you that process. Okay, so first we need to take this knob off. I'm gonna take the two screws out here on top. Okay, now what I need to do is I need to take these two screws out. So I was a huge fan of Vestax when they started dropping mixers. My first mixer was a Vestax 06 Pro. Anyway, let's pull this off here. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to take this little plate off on this side and this side, but we won't be able to do that because this board is soldered in, so we need to remove this board. Alright, so we're gonna have to take the contacts off on the bottom of the circuit board here. So you see these three little contacts. This is where we're going to remove that solder. So I got the solder wick here, and the desoldering wick, we'll just pull all the solder off this board. Alright, got it desoldered there, so this should just come right out just like that. Boom. Okay, so now we can kind of take a closer look here at this little circuit board. So again, you can see the little potentiometer wheels here. Got a whole bunch of stuff on this board. So pretty interesting. I like seeing stuff like this. Put this to the side. Okay, so first what we need to do is we need to pop this open, which is usually pretty easy to do. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's clean this little guy up. A little bit of rubbing alcohol, get on these bars. Again, I mean, look at that. You can see how dirty that fader was. Now, I'm going to clean the board itself. So what I'm going to use is this stuff right here. It's deoxit fader lube. So it's lube for conductive plastics. And I'm sure they still make it. You could probably get it off their website, whatnot. So we're just going to take some of this, and then we're just going to drop a couple of drops on the rail. One right here, here, and here. Just like that. And then we're going to put some on the board itself. Just kind of helps protect the board, and it makes it a little bit smoother because there's less friction. So we're going to move that around, and the more we move it, the more we use it, the smoother it's going to get. So that's pretty much the process of lubing up the bars and cleaning this out. And now we're just going to put it all back together. So I'll put the plate back on, clips in place. Okay, now we need to re-solder this in. So we just need to line up these 3 little pins, just like that. I'm going to actually screw it into the plate, and then that'll line it up perfectly for me, and go from there. And there. Now I know it's lined up perfectly to where it's supposed to be. I'm going to take it over to the mixer. I'm going to see if it fits in there first. Now all I have to do is solder these pins back in. So if you can see, it's these 3 pins right here, and they're barely sticking through, but that's where they need to be positioned to get this to fit back in the mixer correctly. Alright guys, so we're going to install it back into the mixer. So we're just going to plug it in here like so. Okay. And then we're going to fit it back in here. And this is a little bit of a snug fit. It's just because there's that extra board on this one, but it will fit back in there. Okay. Now we just need to put the screws back in. So what we want to do is we want to move this wheel. Okay, so I'm moving the wheel towards the right of the mixer, so I'm moving it this way. Okay, and see how it's turned off all the way? So now what I need to do is I need to move the wheel back to the left. Like I said, it's just, you gotta dial it in, man. It's just a... Okay, right there. Now we'll do it. Yep. Perfect. So yeah, I mean, it's right on the money now. Look at that. Barely. Okay, so let's go the other way here. Okay, so now I need to move this one to the right because I'm trying to get it to turn off, okay? So, there we go. Turn. Off. Barely. Now watch. Perfect. That's pretty sharp. So that's basically how you dial it in, so there is no more dead space, no lag. Let's get the face back on here. So here's a little fun fact. The design that they used on this specific fader is the idea that they took and put on their last mixer, which was the 08 Pro. And basically what they did is they took the little potentiometer knobs off the fader itself and they moved it to the front of the mixer on the 08. So you were able to do the adjustments here on the face as opposed to having to take the face off and do the adjustments there. Alright guys, so let's give it a try. So there you have it. Pretty sweet little fader for the time. Definitely one of my favorites from back in the day. Man, I miss Vestax so much. But this is the reason why I do these videos, because I want to try to preserve the Vestax product as much as possible, so other DJs can, you know, experience the greatness that was a Vestax. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, I'll keep them coming, guys. Thanks for the support. Peace. Alright guys, so let's give it a shot. Okay, let's go. Even without the knob, we still kill it.